Hold up, wait a minute, all good just a week ago. Crew at my house and we party every weekend. So on the radio, that's my favorite song. Make me bounce around like I don't know, like I won't be here long. Now the thrill is gone, got no patience, cause I'm not a doctor. Girl, why is you lying? Girl, why you move faster? Yeah, me casa su casa. Got it stripping like Gaza. Got so high on volcanoes. Now the flow is so lava. Yeah, we spit that saliva. iPhone got message from Viber. Either the head is so hydra or we let bygones be bygones. My God, you pay for your friends. I'll take that as a compliment. Got a house full of homies. Why I feel so the opposite. Incompetent ain't the half of it. Saturdays with young lavish. The saddest shit is I'm bad as it. These they took from the cabinet. Sorry, I'm just scared of the future. Till 2005, I got your back, we can do this. Hold up. No matter what you say, what you do.
Welcome, everyone. We are back with episode 2 of Welcome to Derry. And I got to give it to HBO. They did a good job with this series so far. 2 episodes in, I don't really have complaints about it. They are giving us a really solid series thus far. And I like the story that they're telling and the way that they're telling the story. Although it seems like a lot because there's a lot of moving pieces, there's a lot of characters in here, but I see where we're going and I see how it's flowing. And you know what? I'm here for it. And I like that they're getting deeper into the Stephen King universe, which is what we talked about last week with the pilot episode. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and just know this is going to be a spoiler review. So if you have not seen the episode yet, make sure you put this on your watch later list and come on back and watch it. And also turn on your notifications so you'll know when we drop episode 3 and other content from our channel. So let's get into this episode. Again, spoiler review. Starting off, CT, how did you feel going into episode 2? Were you excited to watch it, and how did you feel after the episode ended?
It was cool. I was definitely excited to watch it because just the way episode 1 ended, it was such I guess, a cliffhanger. I don't know. I guess you would describe it like that. But yeah, it didn't start off how I wanted it to. I wanted it to be like directly from the theater, but they did come back around and tie up those loose ends from the night before time jump. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good. I see what they're going with it. It's getting real deep. I'll say that it's getting real deep, and even outside of like the lore, just the time period and just the the subject matter, like they're really not shying away from anything. I thought the whole children being unalive thing was extreme enough, and then they're going into every taboo topic there is. This show is willing to hit on it. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Really
they
did.
ain't taking it easy on these children at all. I
They
was
ain't
like,
taking it easy on
I
nobody.
thought they gave it to the losers club, but this version of it, who hasn't even gotten into his form of Pennywise yet, taking these kids down through there without no kind of remorse. Like,
Yeah,
you talking about nightmare fuel? These
yeah.
children are really going through it at
I
the
will
hand
I
of
will
this.
say this one thing about this episode, and it hit me yesterday because I saw it the day before yesterday. But yesterday I went downstairs. I was asleep for some reason. I sleep early in the day, and when I woke up, it was nighttime. Went downstairs to get something to drink, and then like I noticed like the silhouettes in my living room, and it made me pause for a minute. And I haven't had that freaking like in like kind of like fear, I guess you could say, from a, a, a media property in years. Well, like you just it's something that brings you back to the thing you saw, and it gives you pause. You know what I'm saying? I went downstairs and I looked around and I just saw how things looked in my living room. It was like this is exactly how it is showing up in this show. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I dig that because this show is really bringing out the horror aspect like to the forefront. I haven't been like on pins and needles watching a horror title in years. This is a show, not a movie.
And this, I thought twice about watching this at night as well. Like I watch horror movies at night all the time. Like that's my thing. I don't really even do stuff, have free time until the evening to watch stuff. But with this one, I was like, now this might not, I need to watch this first and then everything else later. Like this does not need to be the last thing on my mind before I
Yeah,
go to sleep, because it's a lot of creepy imagery, and the way I think about things, I'm like, this do not need to be last on my brain. And
and
I'm
it's
like, you like
suspense.
stuff don't really bother me like that, but with this show, I'm like, yeah, I need to think twice about when I watch it and how I watch it.
Yeah,
There's a lot here, and I'm happy for that, actually. And speaking of, dreams,
your dreams and watching something and then having an issue with it the next day. But in her instance, she was actually in it. So it's like she was in the horror movie and then she came out of the horror movie the next day. But yeah, this was crazy to me because I'm trying to figure out how did she get home and how did she explain anything to anybody? Because they said there was no bodies found, and it's just she was covered in her friend's blood. Like I can't think of like how the interaction happened between her and the police, and I'm pretty sure that's why we didn't see it because the writers probably was feeling like how does this work? You know what I'm saying? Like how did their conversation happen, and how did they let her go home after that? Like
because again, like we talked about last episode, and also we reviewed the original 1990s version of it and talked about how the adults are being complicit in allowing this entity of it to have this space and opportunity to attack these children. So the adults are always going to work against the best interest of the children. So I can see how they would have let this go on, or her like walk around like this, because it would be more in the best interest of the entity for the police to just let her walk away from this and then focus their energy on something else, because now she has this room and this space to now process this horrific event, which increases her level of fear, which is the whole point that the entity wants the children to be during its feeding cycle. So whatever way is going to be more beneficial to the creature and not to the children in itself. So like with that, being conscious of that, I can see how she walked away from that with them being like, oh, okay, well, it must have been an adult there. It must have been old girl's dad that did that. Not that you're not covered in blood and this, and you don't know what happened, but it had to be something. That man had to have done it. Of course. And again, also this entity of it likes mass hysteria. They like that, the chaos that happens around with people. And it's even been reported that it has incited some of these mass hysteria events that have went on, like instigated some of these things where people are going to bring hatred towards each other, or where people are going to harm each other. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. And of course, because Ronnie's dad got blamed for Maddie going missing, since that was the last place that he was seen in public, they're going to go right on back to this person who has an alibi. There's no evidence, there's no proof that he did anything. But when we have to pin it on somebody, and when racism is running rampant, because this is the 60s, let's go for this person. And remember, this is a Stephen King novel. And this is something that happened in Green Mile, Stephen King, where it's like we don't know where the actual person did it, but we it's got to be the black dude. Let's name the closest black dude, and that's just what's going to be. Because uh what do they say? What was the song in Was it Raising Canaan? The streets need a body.
Wow. I mean, is I can see why it would be easy at that point in time to blame him, but it's just I guess you could say the racism that comes through with this scene is with these events is the fact that they they saw Maddie leave. Like there was a man chasing him out of the theater. He was nowhere near, and people were in the theater, and then the black man had to close the theater up. Like there's so many ways to look at it and to be like, there's no way you can say this man was involved with Maddie, Maddie's disappearance. It's just you're saying because he was at this establishment last, the person who owns the establishment has something to do with it. Like, no, it's pure racism. That's not any investigation. It's not like an investigatory like effort put into that. They're saying 1 + 3 is 7. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not doing any kind of work whatsoever with that. But like the second go round, it is more believable because they have this idea that this man was involved with one kid, and then you have 3 other kids. Something happens to them at the theater, which makes more sense than the Maddie situation. And like I get it, I get how he's an easy out, and like historically, that's how police kind of operate, not just with the race thing, but just with cases in general. Because cops are people, they want to go home and get all work too. So they try to find, sometimes try to find the person who seems the most guilty, whether that individual is actually guilty or not, just to get the case, handled and done with. And like the chief was saying later on in the show, like that situation is a powder keg because there are racial tensions in Derry. And then you got this black man who's accused of something that's extremely heinous. Like white kids are going missing. Like that's literally the thing right now, and he's a prime suspect. And so for the chief, it's like, I need to do something before Derry like explodes, before there are riots and whatnot. And the one thing that I noticed, because I didn't watch the intro to the first episode, but I saw the second episode. In the intro, you see like images of like it instigating the riot in the intro of the show. So it's like, yeah, the chief, the chief is a racist SOB, but he has his finger on the pulse of what's going on in that community, and he understands that if he doesn't get something on this man who is suspected of taking these kids out, then it could get much worse in Derry. So I see the disposition, but you're still going after the innocent man.
This Easter egg, that is what we believe to be the cop is Henry, the bully from the It movie's grandfather.
Ah, wait, grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what, 20 years before
Mm-hmm.
the events of It.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And just like Leroy is Mike's grandfather because Will is his dad.
Ah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so the family came. Leroy's family is here, which I'm really glad that they gave him a backstory. Yes, this shakes up the narrative of having the black characters that are there, but we don't know. They're just there to serve their counterparts, and they have no family, they have no history, they don't have a loved one or anything. So I was really glad when his family showed up, and I love Taylor Page, going back to Hit the Floor. So I was glad when we got to meet his family. And now we get to also follow what it's like for newcomers in town experiencing what we see happening Derry firsthand, because everybody in Derry kind of has this weird mentality going on, because I feel like they are spellbound living there. But if you're not from there, you're not a part of what's going on there as of yet. It might be if the longer you stay there, it happens to you. But when you're new and you're fresh, you're just now laying your eyes on it. They're going about seeing things differently. So we get to meet, his wife Charlotte and his son Will, who is just a little nerdy as he wants to be, and
Yeah.
just so cute in his little telescope. I love whoever casted this kid here. It really gives. I can see how he is similar to Mike in the movies. How did you feel that we got to see Leroy and his lovely family? I'm like, come on, wonderful, happy
Oh no,
family.
yeah, I dug it. His this like the first episode, I was like, where are they going with this side story? And now I know where they're going with it, how they're linking it to the main story. And I just like how it was all set up. The his father is like he kind of reminds me of my dad. There's a level of like care, concern, and like want for your child to be a certain way or to be like successful in a certain way or to do a certain thing, and to also not have that like that the interest based understanding because your interests are different from his. Because me and my dad had totally different interests. So like when this dad had the
And
telescope,
did.
yeah, I know, right? Had the telescope, right? I'm sitting there looking at the dad's reaction, and I kind of picked up on it like that wasn't your idea, was it? And then when him and his wife started talking about it later on, and she's the one that got it for him, or the one who suggested getting it. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. But yeah, his dad is like the jock, and he is like the nerd. And I don't know, like there's love there. I can see how they work as a family, but it's just weird seeing that disposition. Like, well, who is this kid taking after? Because fam reads like he's an adult, like he reads for fun, like a straight up adult nerd, like and like he's kind of ashamed of it, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'd rather you pick on me than me not miss out on these good books. You know what I'm saying? Like he is extremely nerdy, and his dad is definitely like macho jock, like in control,
I
like
need you
militant.
on the football field. Like, what are we?
Yeah, like exactly. Like so, yeah,
Like,
that
put down the book and pick up the ball, son.
like he said, like it was weird hearing it, but I understood it when he said that he said that boy is too good, too smart for his own good. And it's like I get what he's saying. I get why he said that in that moment. But yeah, that this is a nice little family unit. And like I don't know how I didn't read any of this stuff. I don't know how they're gonna turn out, but Jesus Christ, if things start going bad for them.
Oh, it happened in the it 2017. Again, spoiler review. Spoiler review. These are Mike's uh Will is Mike's dad. So at least little Will is going to make it, but grown up Will and his wife die in a fire thanks to Pennywise.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, that's from
they
the movie. Yeah, that's right.
mm-hmm. It happened in the movies. But at least we know he made it through childhood. Now the adult life didn't go quite as well. But
Off the rails.
now that children are getting snatched up, they have put in a curfew, which we've seen in the previous movies that this happens when during the feeding cycles that the town don't ever talk about, but they know a whole lot of children go missing. They put in this curfew that happens, and Ronnie's grandmother feel like she's been home too much and she needs to get her education, which is so black grandmotherly like to be
Yeah.
like, you need to learn. Like, you're not doing anything, you're not doing well. Go to that school, hold your head high because you need that education. But I see why she didn't want to be there. These kids are cruel. Stephen King
What
sure know how to make some children be mean as hell. And so I see why she didn't want to go to school. And old girl, they've been calling her the Barbara of Derry. like from Stranger Things.
Barb.
They would call it the Barb of Derry. I cannot stand her because she's so bent on trying to impress the Patties. She
And then,
she's not caring that her friend is sitting over there traumatized.
yeah, her priorities are jacked up. That little girl is. I mean, she's so toxic. She's. It's like, where is she getting this from? But with the parents being so detached in Derry, I can see why these kids are turning out like this. Like, there is a tension in Derry automatically, even without the race thing and the Soviet whole like Cold War thing going on. There's an undertone in Derry that's just tense, and it rubs off on the kids, like, because these kids are brutal, like, and I don't know, like, there's a level of bullying that Derry has, or just Stephen King books have, that just you don't see a kind of bullying on a regular basis. You don't even see that kind of bullying in most media. Like, these kids are willing to bully each other to death. Like, like they're willing to take another person out over some. We got beef in school, so I'm willing to chop you up in the freaking
I'm like, Steven, what kind of
chop
childhood
you
did
up. Like,
you have?
yeah.
Because these children be really going through it, and I really want to know what. I might need to go read a biography or
But
something, because I'm like,
it
at this
kind of,
point, some of these be seeming like real personal.
yeah. I
Like I
mean,
need to express my childhood trauma out.
look at Stephen King, man. He got bullied as a kid, man.
I mean,
Like,
I ain't want to point that out.
nah, Stephen King is cool. He cool now. Like, Stephen King is the GOAT now. You see him, like, I see Stephen King now, and I'm kind of weary because it's like you got a lot going on in that noggin of yours. But like, as a kid, before he got on, I could see him being the nerdy kid that got bullied. Yeah, and like he characterizes bullies from a perspective of a person who has been bullied before.
That's what I said. It
So
be getting real personal sometimes.
yeah, so like,
It's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, nah, he definitely got
Like
bullied.
he's wanting us to know specifically that bullying is very traumatic.
But I wonder if it was just worse in the 60s and 70s. Like, was school was just worse back then? Because we went to school in the 90s. Like, we went to school when stop bullying campaigns became a thing. Like, prior to that, we didn't have no stop bullying. Like, stop bullying stuff came up when we was like in middle school or getting into high school. Like, half of our grade school life, we didn't have stop bullying campaigns. So like, I just wonder if it was just worse, because the way that these kids are depicted, just like I'm thinking about the kids from the freaking movies, the bullies from the movies, like, they pulling out pocket knives and like they hemming people up in the sewer. Like, what the hell?
Sadly, bullying has gotten worse because back then they didn't have cyberbullying, and that's made things all the worse. So
Nah,
technically, no
it's
thing.
emotional bullying though. Like, I can see the
Not,
emotional side getting worse, but the physical side,
but
like,
but the thing is, it is worse because like back then, at least when you got home, it was over. If you could get to your house safely, you didn't have to worry about bullies anymore. Now, maybe outside of Derry, it's a little bit different because the adults was just not trying to protect nobody.
I mean, bro.
But now, when you go home, the bullying isn't over because they're on your phone, they're on your computer, they're on your iPad, and things get incited and things get, um, people get provoked through the web, and then you don't get a break from it, and then they take it to school. Like first thing in the morning, we upset because people then went back and forth on Instagram Live, or people then shared this picture, or people then sent this, and now everybody has this message, and now everybody's laughing because everybody has this information, or they seen this on their phone, and then it's like popping off first thing in the morning. So no, it's gotten worse because at least when you go home, I can be at peace, but they're not getting any peace at home anymore. Stephen King might want to write a little novel about that since he
Really,
wants to give us the horrors of.
really, he want to hit us with the modern day. We gonna get a modern day Stephen King
I
book.
mean, he's doing a good campaign as to why you shouldn't bully.
Cyberbullying. We're gonna be right. Come on, man. You know Stephen King loves having inanimate objects as the antagonist. He gonna have a phone as the antagonist. That's your boy.
But moving right along.
Yo, this is this. Hey, I knew someone right. I told you in the first episode when those guys jumped them, I was like, yo, that was a test. You know, I thought it was the racist dude, what's dude, the Masters. I thought it was him, but they said it wasn't him. But well, he figured out that it wasn't him in a very clever way. Like the way they had him investigate his own assault and figure out the man that they said did it didn't do it. That whole thing was clever as crap. But
And
yeah,
we
like
were thinking that though when they came up in his room. I thought that it was going to be revealed then that that was some kind of initiation or hazing
yeah.
thing that they put him through. But they dragged this hazing out longer than what I thought it was. It's just like, okay,
But
so it
see,
really was like this little hazing thing to test him.
I see. Like I think because they didn't want him to go to the higher ups after he found out. This whole entire thing is covert to the point that the people, the higher ups on base, are doing things that the higher ups and like the Pentagon wouldn't want them to do. So like this base is heavily insulated. Whatever they're looking for or working on, I don't even think the entirety of the U.S. government knows. You know what I'm saying? Like only like that. What they're doing there is only need to know. So that like, there's people in the White House or the Pentagon or the Senate or whatever who don't know what's going on at this base in Derry. And you could tell because they did not want bro to tell on them after he figured out that it was a hoax. So yeah, like, and then I mean it's still ambiguous as to what they look like, what they're trying to find. At the end of this episode, we saw a little bit of it, but it's still kind of ambiguous. But yeah, this conspiracy on this base is deeper than they've shown us so far.
And I appreciate that we're getting this story because in the movies we didn't get any information about who else might outside of the children know about this entity, but this series is letting us know like the military knows what's going on, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
glad we're getting this B plot story going on here. If
like you were
as we were
saying,
talking before, from the movies and episode 1, that the adults are complicit. They are under some kind of a spell or possession from the entity that they don't, and we saw this in the movies too though, that they will allow abuse to take place within children and not do anything. They're not going to intervene, and they will stick up these missing kids posters, but nobody's having conversations about them. Or it's probably the parents that children missing will put them up, but like no, they're not having discussions. They're not doing search parties or anything like that. They are allowing for these things to happen in Derry, which gives the entity room to do what it's doing, and the adults aren't doing anything about it. And I feel like they aren't doing anything about it because they can't. They are not being
yeah,
permitted to do something because of whatever kind of supernatural powers that are on the adults in Derry. And her coming into that, she is not under whatever this supernatural force is yet. So she's seeing that they're not behaving in the manner in which the adults she's accustomed to. And then they are also looking at her like, that's, we don't do that here. Like, you need to adapt, you need to assimilate to what we're doing here. And my thing is, I wonder, is she always going to have this mentality of I see what's going on, or how long will it be before the entity kind of
start impacting
spellbinds
her.
her and she is just like the rest of them? That's my question.
I think certain people aren't as susceptible to it because like how like Will later on he remembered what happened in Derry when the other people didn't. The other kids didn't. You know when they left Derry from the movies.
You mean
So
Mike?
like, yeah, Mike. Will. I'm thinking freaking Stranger Things. But yeah, when he still had like a concern. You know, there was a thing in him that made him see the wrong, see the bad. What I gathered, and I looked this up because after this scene, when I saw this scene, I thought about what you were saying about how people in Derry are like complicit with what's going on. And I was wondering, is it like an active complicit nature? Like, are they sacrificing kids to keep the peace? Or is it like a evil like hue over the city that makes them complacent on a like an allegory for like, you know, bad things happen with good people do nothing, that kind of allegory. And I think that like that because there's aspects in King's work where it seems like when people who are neutral to a situation don't take action, the situation becomes bad. And like in the 60s, there was a big thing about white people who were like neutral in the civil rights movement, who like, yeah, they knew it was something that needed to happen for the country, but at the same time, they didn't move from that state of neutrality. So they were good people who did nothing. So they allowed bad things to happen. It just seems like that's what Derry is, like a place where good people do nothing. And like it is the bad thing that happens.
Exactly, which gives them nothing but space and opportunity.
Man,
Th-
this, oh my
This
God, this
energy
scene.
really be terrorizing these children. And like I was saying last week, to be in the mind of a child and have to do this and knowing that you can't tell anyone because the adults are not going to understand what's going on because everybody there is under this kind of mysterious supernatural force that they're not going to be able to listen. But those dead eyes that we see from Pennywise, I feel like Pennywise is growing every time we see those eyes. Like the final form of it into Pennywise is growing. So it won't be, I feel like it won't be long before we're in that form. They take these scenes and they're like, we're gonna hold you into the terror.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
we're not gonna gloss over the nightmare because we ain't no daytime cable TV family friendly network. This is HBO.
Yeah.
We get to do what we want to do here. And if Stephen King said this is how he wanted y'all to feel frightened, we want y'all to feel exactly what he wanted y'all to feel in those books that the TV movie couldn't give y'all. So we're going to hold you here in place and
Yeah.
let you sit in the whole entire nightmare so that everything that this child is experiencing, now you can see how they are traumatized fully, how they are frightened in a whole different level, how they are isolated, how they have no one, and how it makes it even more brave on their part that they survive these things for the ones that do survive. Because when you're in a situation like this, it makes it almost impossible to come out of this alive, well, with your sanity, not being arrested, or not getting somebody else drugged down with you.
Yeah. You know, this, well, one thing about this scene that really got me was how suspenseful it was. Because like from one moment to the next, you're sitting there trying to, you know, waiting on the next thing to happen, really. Because it was just so much. Like she was literally, she was birthed in this scene. You know what I'm saying? Like she came out of a womb in this scene, and then the womb tried to eat her again. Like, and it the part where she bites the umbilical cord off, it made me think about that girl from that story, you know, that little girl that got kidnapped, and she chewed through the ropes that they tie her up in, and she ran all the way back home. It happened a long time ago, but it was a little girl. She's like 10 years old, and she got kidnapped. She chewed through the ropes. That scene reminded me of that story. Like, I don't know why it popped into my head, but it reminded me of that. This little girl is a fighter on like a whole nother level. Like, she has an intensity that the other kids just don't have. But the one thing that I don't understand about its powers is that, like, I know he's warping reality, but like, how is nothing there when when her dad walks in? Like, she doesn't have anything on her. She was covered in like, look like afterbirth. Like, what? Like, I don't get it. How is just nothing there? And then, like, when she was screaming the whole time, like, was she audibly screaming, or was that in the dream? Or like, where does the dream begin and reality end in these moments?
I mean, same way. It was like that in the movies too, when Bev would be in the bathroom and it's covered in blood, and like her dad couldn't see it, but the Losers Club saw it, and she couldn't even go into her own bathroom, and they had to physically go in and clean it, help her clean it up, so she could at least go into her own bathroom. So I think there's a notion of some things that the kids can see that the adults can't, and then a line between what is in a dream state and what's real. Taking it to Nightmare on Elm Street ish. Freddie was able to do some of these things when that looked real, but they were in a dream state. And the thing is, you're more susceptible to suggestion when you're in a dreamlike state. And that's how he's playing on the things that they fear, and the things that are closest to their heart, the things that they don't want to talk about, the things that they have not healed from. Let's take these and we'll turn it into their worst nightmare ever. And so I believe that her screams were real, but think about the adults. How many times did she need to scream before they took it seriously?
Or heard it at all? Yeah, it's yeah. I dig it though. I like how they do it. His powers are just weird, man. It's like reality manipulation, and it's like dream manipulation, lucid dream state manipulation. I don't know. I can't even freaking describe how his powers should be described. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, how do you fight that? Because you can't tell anybody if they can never see it.
And that's how it is able to isolate them. Um, I like this little meetup with the Black soldiers, and I do believe it's foreshadowing some things that's going to happen later, because like I talked about in episode 1, there is a race riot that happens in the book during this time period, and I feel like they just set the stage for it, even with Dick Halloran's pool, so to speak. I feel like he's not, oh, they people get offended when you have a little rank, when you start to pull rank. That's not going to be so easily forgiven. There's only so many times he's going to be able to do that and it happen in that manner. And so I feel like this scene was just a foreshadow for something darker to happen much later.
Yeah, I don't. I know they were talking about in the bar how they had all been questioned about the incident that happened on base. Which I'm like, I know y'all know it wasn't a single black airman in that room when that happened. So like, why are they being questioned? But you, this scene really sets up like the racist undertones. Like they're found throughout the episode, but this scene kind of hit that home because you have guys who are in like positions of status, and even then, like their race is a hindrance to them like moving about or just doing anything in Derry. So you can already see the like the guy said, this isn't the South, but I mean we still ain't over the racial tensions that that just started in the 60s, well not just started, but just came to a head in the 60s. So we're still on that, you know. We might be a few 100 miles removed from the Mason-Dixon line, but races are up here too, pretty much. Um, when he went to the place and that guy tried to stop them from going back, because they had went and got drunk at it's got a moonshiner or whatever, and then when they got drunk, they were coming back. They tried to stop them. Um, that's when Hollering was like, tell them who he was and whatnot, and they let him in. And then the other black guys finally believed he was on some real top secret stuff. And that's when we kind of got the gist of why Hollering was important, like what his value to that base was. Like he's a finder, like the girl from Dr. Sleep.
Okay. Underrated movie.
Man, like I'm gonna keep going back to that because I mean it's part of the lore anyway. But yeah, like it's highly underrated and it does a lot to like flesh out Stephen King's universe on its own.
And we see that Dick Halloran has a job to do here. They are using him for his job. He don't have rank just because of, he's been doing a good job military wise and the typical sense of a soldier. He's pulling rank here because the people who are in this special operation knows that he has this ability. He has the shine, and they are using it to look for something, and they need him to help with that.
Yeah, I wonder what those guys who was watching the whole thing, they look indigenous, like Native Americans. Those guys who was watching the whole dig site, like they know it's something down there that they shouldn't be going trying to get.
Universe Easter egg. This is one of the kids from The Long Walk.
What?
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if the character is the same, but
I mean,
that's
of course not, different universe.
yeah,
But
that's the same actor though.
like, what kid? Because I don't remember him at all. Is he one of the ones that just got off early in the thing that we didn't? Was it the native dude that tried to fight
Mm-hmm.
back? That was him.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go back
Mm-hmm.
and look at this episode again. That was him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Dang.
Come on. I'm like, come on, Stephen King universe.
Oh yeah.
And Ronnie went off
She
on our
did. I
girl.
do gotta say something about that transition though, because when dude went up to Dick hollering, how you say his name, and was like, "You need to do a better job," and he turned around and he threw up, and they transitioned to like mashed potatoes into a plate. That was disgusting. That got me because I was eating. I was eating when that happened, and bro just, ugh, oh my god. But yeah, great transition. It's just bad timing on my part. It was a great scene though. I like Ronnie. I heard her actress. I don't know who she is, but I like her actress.
And she had a right to go off on old girl, but it's something that Ronnie has to understand is that these people are not going to believe you. And I understand why she didn't say it was a whole creature coming out the TV, because she's just like, look now, hell, I done already been in Juniper Hills, though why would you want me to go back?
Now I dig it. I understand little Shorty's disposition in this situation. The only thing that she needed to do was just stand on
Really?
business that Ronnie's dad wasn't there. Like that's all she needed to do was stand on that. Like he wasn't there. The end. Like we left Ronnie and them's house to go there, and he was at the house when we left. Like, and that's the truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to say nothing about no monsters coming out of the screens. None of that. So yeah, I just feel like she ain't fighting hard enough for this girl's dad because she has an out. She has an out.
And I look at it from both sides, because I mean I get on Ronnie's side, like help me. You know that my dad didn't do it. Like you need to defend him. But on Lily's behalf, Lily was traumatized in that place. And she doesn't want anyone to think that she's going to do anything for them to drag her back there, because we have to remember, in the 60s, mental health care was not what it is today.
Yeah, I get it.
And it was a scary place then, and nobody was really trying to help them. They were literally locking the way. She might as well have been going to jail at this point, in a place of jail where they doped you up and experimented on you. Like, there was really no help there. They really was just locking her away with a bunch of people that was probably more severe than what she was. So she's terrified of going back, but Ronnie is also terrified of what could happen to her Black father in this majority white town. So they both have a reason to be terrified about what could happen next.
Man, you gotta stand on business. Yeah, it's me. I know they kids, they ain't thinking, in my opinion. But that's part of being a kid, so I guess I can give them a pass on that.
And Will, he just got here, just got to school,
Man, he is such a like.
and already got detention. But I'm glad one of the first people he met here in detention was Ronnie. And I like his little backhanded nerdy way of flirting. It's just the cutest little thing either. I mean, she probably ain't picking up what he's putting down right now because she's really concerned about her dad.
Yeah, she
And
got some
he
stuff
just,
going on.
yeah, she got a lot going on right now, Will. It's
She intrigued though, because she did have that little banter. She went back and forth with him. But then, like, when she realized he's reading for fun, she was like, who lies about doing schoolwork so they can read something that's not even pertaining to school? And she was like, that's weird. And he was like, take one to know one. It's like, yeah, y'all gonna be cool.
exactly. And she kind of gave him the rundown of what it's like to be in detention, which clearly shows that Ronnie has been in detention several times, which is making me think, what are y'all just finding reasons to put the Black children in detention?
No, you don't say. Freaking did you notice on the chalkboard it said Mike loves Christine?
I didn't.
Oh, I figured it was a reference to Christine, the car. Yeah. And future Mike.
Who was the name of the person who was driving Christine?
Arnie or something like that. Artie, something like that.
Well, yeah, Stephen King recycles names, but they say, when you've written as much material as he has, it's hard to come up with new stuff. He probably gonna have to go to different countries to pull out some names.
Man, people, writers from like that era, like they recycled the same names. That's the reason why Batman and Superman's mom got the same name. Like they're both Martha. You know, they weren't very creative back then. Now this scene right here, man, this cop ain't shit. Man. Just be real with you. I mean, I said earlier he has.
But think about
to
it. This is what's his name's granddad. This is Henry the Bully's grandfather.
I mean, yeah, he's a bad person anyway, but he still has
spawned a whole generation after that of horrible people. But yeah, the way he did that little girl. And first of all, where is her parents and an attorney? Because he should not have been able to talk to her like this.
That's what I said too, but it's a small town.
Yeah, she has rights. So he should. First of all, this was illegal to have talked to her like that. And it's a shame that he's covering his own big grown ass to keep his position and career-wise. Mm-hmm. And he is willing to threaten her safety and mental health to win a popular vote. Mm-hmm. Again, the grown-ups in Derry, they be like, F them kids. If this was a poster child for F them kids, we need to just take all the adults in Derry, and they are the representative for this.
Yeah.
If anybody, because he did not have to break this little girl down the way he did, and threaten her with something like that.
Yeah.
And again, the only reason he did it was to save his own self.
Oh yeah, like he's under pressure. He's under pressure to find out what happens to them kids, and it's like he wants an out. This is his scapegoat. Got to find a way out.
And because he did, they went and took your boy,
I'm
took
like,
him.
yo, what did she say though? Because see, here's my thing. If you say that, if the girl says, okay, he wasn't there, then they can be like, okay, as an alibi that he wasn't there. Or if she said, I didn't see him there, then they can infer that he may have been there. But even in that sense, not understand this is the 60s and this is a black man. I get it. That's not enough to arrest somebody. Like, it's not
It
probable cause.
it is racism is enough because I feel
No,
like the
I
only
get it.
thing
I
he could
get
really
that.
pull out of her was that, like he said, is telling her to say, "I can't be for sure if he was there or if he wasn't." That
Yeah.
that that would have been enough for them to just make a general arrest in this time period. In my mind, he should have been called a lawyer. I probably would have just moved from at this point. After that
I'm
whole
looking to
theater
see.
thing, I would have packed up my stuff. But again, there's this thing, this supernatural thing with all the adults from Derry that they don't escape it. Like they're stuck
No,
there.
I get that, but there's also like this small town thing in Derry that is perpetuating this because is getting lawyers, and I think that's just a thing for Derry. Like there is a there is a trust and a complacency when it comes to law enforcement, where people, like, if a person is accused in Derry, they're guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the cop said so. So it's like in small towns like that, like the police chief, people like that, they have way too much power. Like I can see why the chief was able to interrogate this little girl without a lawyer and without her parents, because the parents probably would have been like, oh yeah, go ahead and talk to her, because they trust the police. And that's because it's a small town. It's just how small towns work, you know, which is like, it's ass backwards, but that's how Dublin is. That's how where we come from here. So yeah, I get it. I get why nobody has a lawyer in the 60s too. Yeah, I get it, but Jesus, none of this is legal.
Yeah,
Said like that.
Ronnie pulled up to Lily's house to let her know that I know you said something and you didn't stick to the plan, and now they came and got my dad. So at this point, Ronnie said it's up and it's stuck, and I'm not
Yeah,
mad at her for this. And
I'm
I
not
and
either, man.
I
Shorty,
would be mad too, but again, on Lily's behalf,
stand on business.
Ronnie doesn't know what she had to deal with inside of Juniper
Ronnie knows the power dynamic, and she knows that this girl has more pull in this community than Ronnie's family does. That's how
Exactly.
Ronnie's
That's
seeing
what I'm saying. Ronnie's looking at it from a cultural standpoint, and you could have been the voice to help proving his innocence.
it.
But Ronnie doesn't know that Lily was pretty much coerced by the police and was threatened with her mental health. And mind you, if this Juniper Hills, this is also a hospital where they hold the adults as well. It's just this one place, so we don't know what happened to her in there. We don't
No,
know what
I
happened.
get it. I get it. I get it. It's just, it's like you're put in a situation where you have to decide whether you're gonna trade personal, like, comfort and security for a man's life. Like, that's the two trades that's up right now. And it's like us being us, we already knew what was gonna happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a foregone conclusion for us, because Lily had a way out, and she was gonna take it. And Ronnie knew that. Ronnie knew that if they gave Lily a way out, she would take that opportunity to get up out of there. And she did. And I mean, yeah, sure, I can't blame her, but at the same time, I'm blaming her.
Moving right along.
It's your boy. It's your boy, what's the name? Masters? Yeah, this is the scene when Buddy figured out that he couldn't use the gun. Like I don't even know how we gonna talk about this scene because that joke he told was terrible.
But Leroy got the answers that he wanted.
He
He
did, but it's like you heard what he said about bro's mom, like, and then that would have pissed me off too. But I could see
But
in
that
this
was smart of
situation.
him. That it gave me so much respect for Leroy to be able to go and investigate uh, him getting jumped in the middle of the night and him being able to figure out like ain't no way you know how to do this fast with this weapon. Ain't no way. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna put you in a predicament and see how you fumble it. And just to be like, I knew this whole time.
yeah.
So yeah, that what you sitting here taking the fall for that? I'm not falling for it. And thanks for letting me know that all this was a setup. So good job with Leroy investigating him getting jumped in the middle of the night, because if he didn't do it, he wasn't going to be able to get privy to what's really going on, not just with what happened with him, and I call it this little form of hazing, but to get to the truth about this secret operations that's happening in Derry in general. So I'm glad that he went and told them about it, like, hey, this is what I discovered. This is what's going on.
Figured out
Uh,
y'all doing some stuff in here. Like he figured out it went deeper than where they told him it was. And then that's when bro was like, all right, we need to sit
yeah,
down and talk. Cause
yeah, we're gonna let you into the whole thing and to tell you the truth. Like, yeah, this whole thing is secret. We got to keep it low, like low. And
there
you need
was
to go through this test because we need to be able to trust you and to know that you're the right man for us to bring in.
they was trying to see if he had fear, if he was truly a man without fear. Like yeah, he definitely like yeah, the I forgot what the amygdala. I can't think of the name of the part of the brain, but yeah, it's the fear center of the brain. And if that's damaged, then yeah, he has no self preservation whatsoever, and that's why he was like, "Oh, go ahead, shoot me."
And I'm glad that they were able to bring him into the fold. And again, that's how we get Leroy pulled into the truth about what's going on with Derry. This scene was creepy as hell again, just like the scene with
Yeah,
Ronnie,
yeah.
with old buddy kind of peeping at her in the store, and then having her dad in different parts in the pickle jar. Whoever, this is complete nightmare fuel. And the thing that she feared the most ended up happening anyway.
Anyway, and it's like we knew it was coming. Like I knew she was gonna get sent back there. Like the moment it got discussed, I was like, "Girl, you going back? You threw this man under the bus, and you still going? You still going?"
But this scene was completely, and they held us in the moment. Like they didn't like show us and then gloss over it. They held us into what was happening here. Completely held us in the moment with that whole scene, breaking it down. Like again, like this, the creepy smiling and the peeping at her, and then just the the whole thing, knowing what happened to her father at the, and because that's how he, at the plant, the pickles, and this being, and that's already because that's what sent her to Juniper Hills in the first place,
First
was
place,
what
yep.
happened to him. And for them to, again, the entity to use what fueled her fear and trauma in the first place, like, we're just going to play on that some more and dive a little bit deeper into it, and then hold us into the nightmare that she's having, so that we see firsthand why she's so afraid. And that didn't do anything but get her back to where she didn't want to be in the first place. So I really hope that the next episode they take us with her there, so we can see exactly what's going on there and why she's
Inside,
so
yeah.
afraid to go back from her firsthand experience. And who's there? Who else is there? What is her experience going to be like in this place? And we get to see what's actually going on at the end of the episode, that they know that there's this entity that is sparking up fear.
Yeah. And
And
it's attached to like different like arcane items around the world. And if you find each little item, it guides you to the bigger in the bigger item, the bigger thing that they're gonna use. It's supposed to be like some kind of deterrent where like it fills the individual with so much fear that it can actually make their heart stop. Yeah.
and they want to use it. They want
Yeah.
to harness. They
To
want to
end the
harness.
they want to end the Cold War by using this. Yeah.
Yes, this is their way of like, let's harness whatever this type of energy is that is happening and use it to our own benefit, which I can see why they would have to take someone through the ringer to explain this to this, because this it
Mm-hmm.
sounds absolutely absurd, especially for military people. But I say that loosely because I mean, at a certain level of military clearance, they
You
know
start
some things.
seeing some things.
I was just gonna say they start seeing and start knowing some things. If you get an intelligence military clearance, you know some stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
ever ask go and ask some people and maybe not still enlisted, but some veterans.
We
Like
went to school with some folks who special forces.
exactly. Do
Yeah.
they
We done
know
heard some stories. Yeah.
some things that
We
they
done heard
still
the
ain't
stuff
gonna
that they
be getting.
could tell us. Like it's a lot they couldn't tell us. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know what the heck this is, but like
Halloran job helped them, and they can get off his ass now because they were just like, you've been telling us to look in this direction and we still haven't found anything. He's like, no, just keep going and y'all getting close. And then they got there, he was like, see, I know what I'm talking about. I know my shine, it's gonna help y'all. And so I'm glad they can get off of his ass now. So hopefully when we start episode 3, they'll take us into more details about what
what
this
this freaking thing is.
and how they plan to use this and how it's going to help. And we'll hopefully we'll spend a little bit more time with the military special operations group to see what they've been putting together and maybe how people have been affected going into this whole thing, which is why they needed somebody like Leroy that's like, he's very brave and courageous, because if you not this thing and get whatever is down there, like you're going to be a victim to it. And
Man, he
I get
can't.
the feeling that they've had some victims.
Oh yeah, they probably have us go mad already. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
already knows that the fear is so great it can stop your heart. That has happened to somebody. He's speaking from experience. He saw somebody that happened to.
Mhm.
But yeah, freaking Leroy, he is definitely the main candidate. He can't feel fear. Like he's Daredevil, pretty much. Matt Murdock, man with no fear.
And
Except he's black.
I love
Black Murdock.
I love that for him. Anywho, y'all,
You're
we will be
hilarious.
back next week for episode 3. Y'all stick with us, okay? Hang in there. We're gonna be locked in for this, locked in for the whole ride. Again, if you here with us for the journey of this, make sure you hit like and subscribe and turn on your notification bell. I am still covering Reasonable Doubt. I just did a out of theater reaction for Begonia, and Frankenstein is coming out on Netflix this week, into this week. And I might be dropping some things for Talamasca. So just roll with us. And we will see y'all in the next one.
I can put you in a log cabin somewhere in Aspen. Girl, ain't nothing to the pain, ain't tricking if you got it.
Go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that.
Put you in a
He's just out
mansion
there and he's watching us and
somewhere
waiting.
in Wisconsin.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Like I said, ain't nothing to the pain. We can change the last name. What's happening? Cause you look so good. Tell me why you wanna work here. I put you on the front page of a King magazine, but you gon' get yourself hurt here. Hey, baby, I brought you in the back just to have a conversation. Really think you need some ventilation. Let's talk about you and me. Oh,
We go from taking Kel to the hospital to catching a goddamn snake.
I think she want me. Nah, I can't leave her lonely. No, ooh, I can't believe it. Ooh, she out on me.
Lay low until he knows you're alone, and then he's gonna come after you.
I can't leave her lonely.